Hello again, everyone. It's your man, Cowboy Star, coming back at you. That's right, we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. After further review, that's the title of this video. After further review, I've been thinking, how could it be that the O-line of the Cowboys was the culprit of our failed season? Yes, that's right. I think the offensive line is what really did us in. Uh, we just don't have the offensive line that everybody thought we did. There was a lot of factors that have contributed to that, and I'm fixing to get into that. But before I do that, I'd like to wish everybody a happy divisional playoff weekend. We got some really good games. A couple of these games really could be AFC or NFC championship matchups the way they got them lined up right now. Like the Chiefs playing the Bills, Green Bay, San Francisco. It's going to be good games. Bengals, Titans. It's going to be some really good matchups. So be sure and tune in to those today. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little red subscribe button. I know a lot of you guys that watch the videos may forget to do that, and I appreciate it if you would. Um, yeah, the offensive line, it stems back to when we had Travis Frederick was our center, and he got that syndrome where he had to end up retiring. And ever since he's retired, the offensive line just has not been the same. Tyron Smith is frail. He's always injured. He's good for maybe 10, 11 games a year, and the rest he's out with injuries, little nagging injuries. Um, we need a left guard. Connor Williams is not the answer, as we've seen this year. Makes far too many penalties. He's a little bit undersized. He's just not the answer. Uh, Lyle Collins didn't have a good year this year. He was out with a 5-game suspension for being a bonehead and trying to bribe the test collector there of the drug test collector. I mean, come on, man, you can't do that. And only constant one that we have on our offensive line is Zach Martin. Tyler Biotish is a second-year center. He's not Travis Frederick by any stretch of the imagination. He's not near strong enough. He's getting pushed around in the middle, and he's not as knowledgeable as Travis Frederick. So, in my opinion, to fix this offensive line, it's a toss-up whether we end up keeping Tyron Smith. If you want to put up with his injuries history, that's cool, but he's getting a little bit long in the tooth. He's been with us for 11 years, 10 or 11 years, and he's only good for 10 or 11 games a year. But when he's in there, he's one of the top, if not the top left tackle in the league. It's just a matter of what do we do those other 5 or 6 games. We don't have an adequate backup right now for him. My answer to fixing this offensive line is I think if we keep Tyron Smith at left tackle, I would move Lyle Collins to left guard, get rid of Williams, and then we need to either get a new center in the draft, a top flight center, or in free agency get a top flight center. Biotish, he's not trash, but he's just not physically strong enough. Unless he can get it real strong in the off season, he's just not the answer. And of course, we've got Zach Martin at right guard, and I would put Terrence Steele over at right tackle. He seemed to be really good at right tackle, not left tackle. So I think if we do that, everybody can stay healthy. I think it'll help our offensive line. There was a lot of games. Our running game, of course, wasn't there all year long. Zeke had a kind of a so-so year with a gimped up knee, a PCL that he injured, and but I don't care who you are. If you're, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, any good running back, you're not going to go through. If you don't have any holes, you're not going to be successful in the running game. Of course, Zeke seemed like he's lost a step or two, but overall, he had a pretty solid season. Remains to be seen if they're going to bring Zeke back. I'm sure they're going to have to unless they get a trade because it'd be an $18.2 million cap hit. Uh, but even our pass protection wasn't good this year. Dak was running for his life most of the year unless we played a really weak team. But yeah, that I think that's the answer to Dallas's problems. If we could just get a good, solid offensive line that can actually block. These guys aren't blocking, man. You can't tell me they are. I mean, anytime you can't run the ball at all the whole year, pretty much, you're stymied the whole year. I can see a couple of games, but not the whole year. And we got to make adjustments. It doesn't look like Kellen Moore, offensive line coach, is making any adjustments. Maybe we need to get a new offensive line coach because the results just weren't there this year. And Jerry Jones had his year-end press conference on 105.3 The Fan, and he didn't seem like a happy camper on there. He was asked, I guess, by a question by one of the reporters there that kind of endorsed Mike McCarthy coming back, and he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't endorse Mike McCarthy. He said he was unhappy that we're talking about making these adjustments now after the season's over with and we're sitting at home. He said, I think we should have made these adjustments after the first game at Tampa or after the third or fourth game. And here we are sitting at home and we're talking about making these adjustments. Why didn't we make these adjustments when we still had a chance in the season? And I kind of agree with him on that, but, it's here nor there. Now, there's a couple of Cowboys that have come to the end of their contracts and they're free agents. Leave a comment and let me know which one of these guys I'm fixing to mention you think we ought to get rid of. Anthony Brown is one of them. Anthony Brown had a so-so year. He had some ups and downs, but I think he'd be better suited to be like one of the backups if we do end up keeping him. Going to cost us about a $5 million cap hit if we decide to keep him. We got Boss Man Fat. That's right. Boss Man Fat is his turn to come in there and show what he can do. He played the last couple of games and he seemed not to be too overwhelmed. And I think Boss Man Fat could be a better version of cornerback than we have with Anthony Brown. Greg the Leg Zuerlein. Now this cat, he was all hyped up when we first got him. I think Greg could really be a good kicker if he could get the ghosts out of his head or something, whatever's going on with him. He's got the leg. He's just been very inaccurate this year. I think he's only made like 85% of his kicks this year, and he's missed about 6 extra points. I mean, that's unacceptable. We can't have somebody like that. If we decide to keep him, I think we ought to bring in some competition for him and have like a competition at kicker and see who wins. And if he does, or if they decide to just get rid of him, remains to be seen. But something's got to be done about Greg Zuerlein. Jordan Lewis is another free agent that's on the block this year, his last year free agent. So he's going to hit us with about a $3 million cap hit, a little bit cheaper than Brown if we decide to bring him back. He played good the first 3 quarters of the season. After he got COVID, he kind of went downhill. He didn't play the last few games all that great, but Jordan Lewis is a solid nickel corner. He could be utilized if we decide to bring him back, maybe at a cheaper price. Tyron Smith, big elephant in the room. Do you want to bring him back, or you want to suffer the injury problems that he's got? He's good when he's in there, but like I said, it's just 5 or 6 games a year he's not going to be in there. And Zeke Elliott. He's got 1 more year on his contract, but do you make a trade for Zeke Elliott? Because that's the only way you're going to get rid of Zeke is to make a trade. Otherwise, you're going to end up having to pay up an $18.2 million cap hit, which I know we're not going to do. But, it's just a comedy of errors on the Cowboys this season. We were playing great the first 7 games, and then the end, it is what it is. We just didn't get the job done. And I attribute a lot of that to the coaching staff, especially Mike McCarthy. why he didn't step in with Kellen Moore and try to give him more direction. I mean, when you got 3 or 4 guys that have been play callers before in their career, you got McCarthy was a head coach play caller for Green Bay. You have Nussmeier, who's the receivers head coach in there, receivers coach under Kellen Moore. He's called plays before. And you had McAdoo, who's been an offensive coordinator before. He could have put some input to help Kellen Moore. You know, you're the head coach. It's ultimately your responsibility. If things aren't going right, it's your job to step in there and correct your coaches. It's not a matter of worried about stepping on their toes. I mean, he's still a young coordinator. It's only second year. I see no problem with the head coach getting in his ear and saying, Kellen, no, we need to do it this way. We need to call these plays. We need to script these plays. But no, Mike McCarthy did not do that, so he's suffering the consequences. But that's pretty much all I have today, guys. Be sure and watch the playoff games. It's going to be kind of hard to watch with the Cowboys not being in there. I understand that, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate all those who have. And I will be coming out with my Where Are They Now series, Cowboys, like I did before in the off season. It seemed to be well received when I did so. That's probably what I'm going to start doing on the next couple of videos. With that being said, y'all have a great weekend. We'll catch you next time. I'm out.